Um, yeah, I just going live, man. I got a couple of topics I wanted to go over real quick. I know it's late. It's like what is it like 3 o'clock in the a.m. here in Texas, but yeah, I just wanted to go live for a minute, and cause you know I'm about actually doing having some kind of agenda based situation where we can actually do something instead of talking. So what I was trying to propose to try to see if we can come up with is, because like this, you ready to come into 2018, and what I'm noticing and what we lacking is some kind of a simplistic agenda that we can do to, not nothing long term, but something simple and something that we can obtain and something that we can set a goal for that we can reach. I got some ideas on how we can or something, some simple targets that we can do to try to show that we are actually moving in the right direction with the with something, some kind of agenda. Because I've been dealing with the information as far as our history for 10 years now, and I have that's what some of the things that I noticed that we lack. And if nobody else is going to bring those ideas forward, it's I guess um, being as though I got enough. I guess you would say time in the community that I guess I have guess what I'm trying to say is I got a right to actually try to bring forth some of this stuff that I see that's lacking. I sat around for long enough and tried to give the people that was in leadership positions time to try to actually get something done. So if they're not going to be able to get something moving to where we can start seeing something tangible, then being as though I've been in the community a long enough time to be able to actually start doing some speaking, then I'm going to start putting forth some ideas and starting to see if we can get some stuff done. You know, some simple, like I said, some simple soft targets as far as like economics that we can start pushing and start showing our people that, the people that's dealing with this history is really fighting and really doing more than what, the churches, the politicians, and everybody else that's supposed to be at our aid, but have yet to show up. From the Muslims to the, on down. We have yet to see any real movement as far as us trying to bring something forward. So what I want to talk about is putting forth a 1 year agenda where we maybe just try to obtain one corner store, and then in obtaining that corner store, we will at least have um, had made a goal to where we could show that we actually did something. I know that's a small feat, but I don't know of anything that we have done as far as the Pan African community to show that we are actually serious about making a change in the community. I mean, we got a lot of people with a lot of ideas, but we have not seen any actual major accomplishments that we can really put a feather in our hat on, so to speak. So that's my particular idea. If anybody wants to bring forth some other type of ideas that we can do to try to have a 1 year goal coming into 2018, we need to get on a collective as far as like what that agenda is going to be. Like I said, my idea is to maybe if we can obtain, a corner store and use the theme of a red, black, and green theme to let them know that the people that's Pan Africans are the ones that's doing this, and or we finally got something done, and make it nice, because everything we're gonna have to do is gonna have to be of high standard so that our people can patronize the store and understand that what we're trying to do is serious. Um, I want to talk about how we could moving forward coming out of that. Well, just that one store, we can use that as the like a virus, so to speak. Excuse me, like a virus, so to speak, to or maybe that's not the right word to use. We can use that as a seed. Yeah, let me use that word. Use that as a seed to give our people a place to go to where even if you got to drive a little bit further to get there, then you go to that store. I'm not talking about I'm too far, but people that's in driving range, you know, we need to patronize that store to where it's a line every day, to where we just refuse to go to the Arab stores, we refuse to go to the Korean or the Asian stores, we refuse to go to the European stores in those communities, which we are prominent and where we dominate. We all got the black neighborhoods where we're most prominent at. Those are the areas that I'm talking about targeting, so that we can start taking back something and showing something for the next generation. We have to start showing movement in what we're saying. I mean, just talking is not really it's not really cutting it for what we're trying to do as a Pan-African group, as far as like in 2017, 18, and moving forward. We had a lot of people. We know our history now, but now it's time to put some of these ideas and some of this history into, you know, bring it into fruition, as far as like making some things happen, so we can show that we are actually serious about trying to take our economics back and start doing for ourselves, just like every other population in America does. I mean, we cannot continue to be, you know, preyed upon economically without fighting back. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now you look at this hat I got. You'll see brothers still rocking Cowboys hats, still rocking Yankees hats. And these Europeans have already stated that they don't want to have anything to do with trying to help us in our struggle. So we should take that type of income away from them. I mean, that's what we're talking about doing, is fighting. But we got to understand that it's other ways to fight. The first fight is going to be a historical fight. And I was going to just say for me, but that's for us. The first fight we're going to have to do is we're going to have to consolidate around the beginning of our history. And we're going to have to make a hard stand on that, like, for real. We're going to have to if we want to acknowledge the Hebrew history, it's going to have to be in the chronology in which Hebrews came into the picture. Then moving out from there, Islam, so forth, Christianity, and so on. We cannot continue to be confused about our history, as far as dealing with how it was chronologically disseminated out to the world and to the to our people. I mean, we have to acknowledge that it's actually disrespectful to not acknowledge your ancestral history. That's what the problem is. We want to acknowledge it based on a pretty much of erasing of our memory and a spell that's been put on us. And I mean by spell, I'm not talking about a spooky sense. I'm talking about when you use words that you don't understand, when you've been given a language that you don't really comprehend, that causes you to be confused. When you have your history erased from you, you are confused about who you're supposed to be. And I guess I could talk about that for a quick second, as far as like the source and us being an intelligent people, to be able to look at the most intelligent people as far as each category in which we need help in. Like, we got some people that's really smart with our history. We got some people that's really smart with mathematics. We got some people that's really smart with science. We got some people that's really smart with astrology. We're supposed to identify each and every one of the people that's the smartest in our community, and use those people to elevate us to a higher point, as far as like what we're doing, as far as trying to get ourselves out of the situation that we're in. So I don't want to have the video be too cluttered up with a whole bunch of different topics. But like I said, we need to set up a 1 year goal at least, as far as like what we want to do. And then we can all discuss and talk about that and figure out which is the best route. Or I mean, because I got 4 year plans that I'm thinking that we should be doing. Like we know like a whole bunch of discrimination. Like they're dealing with right now, they're dealing with a whole bunch of rape allegations going on in Hollywood and throughout politics and all that, dealing with the rape situation. Well, we're dealing with racial discrimination. They're dealing with sexual discrimination in the workplace. We're dealing with racial discrimination in the workplace. We have agendas that we need to be bringing forth, you know, while they bringing up stuff that's 20 and 30 years old. We have issues that's 20 and 30 years old that we could be bringing up. Okay, like, okay, since they want to bring up stuff that happened 20 and 30 years ago, well, let's bring up the crack era. How about let's bring up how y'all should pay us. I mean, we don't even have to go back 200 years, 400 years to be asking for any type of reparations for the damage that they've done to the African American community. The crack era is documented as being an attack on the African American community. Is documented. They got busted on it. If y'all gonna go back 20 and 30 years on European rapes or whatever y'all want to call it, just anything. If y'all want to go back on 20, 30 years and try to get some justice, can we get some justice for the crack era? See what I'm saying? We got to start talking about our agendas, about how we're not getting hired or how we're not getting financially compensated for the same jobs. Like African Americans get paid maybe 50% less than what non-African Americans get paid in this country. We're like on the last of the totem pole as far as employment. We have issues that we need to be. If y'all want to try to attack the employment issue this year, I mean, we that's what we need to do. If y'all want to attack, it's gonna have to be something economical so we can start showing and moving forward towards economic independence. So that's gonna be what the agenda is gonna have to be on that. Now, does it have to be a corner store? No, we can have a discussion about that. But we do need to set an agenda for next year to where the Pan-African community could show something. Like I said, I don't want to go out and say let's go get a school like Umar and have us looking at 100,000. I mean, like a million, a couple of $1 million project. I want us to do something simplistic. Maybe we can do a corner store in the fashion of a 7-Eleven. Use our red, black, and green theme. We can come up with a name together. We can come up with the logo that we're going to use for the stores. The idea that we're going to be coming up with will be used to franchise out through all of our communities. And we're going to have to start using our color schemes, red, black, and green, to help us identify where we are in this world. I know a lot of us are afraid. I know a lot of us think that using this image is going to get us in trouble, but every other community uses their colors to identify where to patronize at. You got down here in Texas, you got Mexicans with the Mexican flag. You got Europeans with the European flag. You have Asians, all different factions of Asians with their flags, and they put that at their business so people will know. If they don't do that, then they use their language. So we're going to have to understand that we don't have an indigenous language here to use. So we're going to have to use colors and historical images to identify where to patronize as Africans in America. So, like I said, I don't want to be too long-winded, but I got a lot of ideas. I think that these jackets are going to be a great representation of us representing our royalty, putting that back in their faces, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be using this image of Heru that I have on this hat, and also on the shirt. Let me back. Maybe I can back so y'all can see. But and the flag here. But yeah, you can see on the flag there. We're supposed to be using this image because see, that's what I did. I want, instead of us talking about something, I would have had 5 years ago and put forth, started a movement without actually actually trying to be in the forefront, because I didn't feel like I had a space to speak, because we already had speakers that already had ideas and stuff that they wanted to do. But as we see, these people are falling by the wayside and actually have disappointed and failed us as far as like actually getting something started for us that's tangible that we can see. I don't think that what we have to do is really that hard, family. I think that we just have to get started. I've gotten started. I've started a brand for us, and is representing actual African royalty from the inception, family. The image that I have on this hat and on the flag represents African royalty. It's the first image that the kings used in Egypt. The first image that you're going to see is the falcon, which is Heru. This is representing our royalty. If you look on the dollar bill, you will see an image that looks like this. This is the only thing they've done is erased our memory and taken it and used it for themselves to empower themselves. A lot of our elders know this. A lot of our most wisest and smartest Africans in America and around the globe, they know our true history. We just need y'all to listen, family. If y'all want to try to change, we're gonna have to listen to the smartest of our people, and we're gonna have to change. We're gonna have to listen to people that have shown that the history. You're gonna have to study the history. You're gonna have to look for yourself. You're gonna have to make a decision on if what we're saying is true. We're not asking you to believe anything, but our history is documented as being older, thousands of years older than what anything the Hebrew or the Bible or the Torah or the Quran can offer. And that's what that's what the sense of confusion is. Let me end and leave y'all with this. When Europeans erased Africans' memory, what they gave us was a timestamp as far as Adam and Eve. God said that this is the when the light in the world and all. They told us that when you start your history from the very beginning. What we're saying and what has happened is after our enslavement, we had elders that came before us. They figured out that the information that was being provided to us was not correct. What they did was they went on a journey before us. They went on a journey to seek and find our history because our memories has been erased. That is going to be the first thing that you're going to have to do, and we're going to have to do as a collective, is to at least acknowledge that our memories have been erased. Once you acknowledge that 400 years ago Africans couldn't read in America, Africans didn't even have an indigenous writing system in West Africa. From the information that I have from elders from the actual continent. So they didn't have a writing system, so everything that they were taught was taught from the writing system of the French or the European or the British or the Portuguese or whoever that colonized that particular country or that particular region, wherever they are. That's how they learned history. They learned history from whoever colonized them, which is very shocking because when you first meet an African from the continent, you think that they're going to give you your history when they're not going to give you their history. The matter of fact, they're going to be more indoctrinated or just as indoctrinated as we are here. And it's really shocking and sad to see the global historical plight that we are in. We have to change, family. Time is of the essence. I'm in a wheelchair. I don't know if people like that's not in a wheelchair have a sense of urgency as someone like me. But I'm of the thinking that I don't have much time here. So every second, every minute, every hour is vital to me. That's why I move in the way that I move. That's why I started Pan-African Design. That's why I put Heru on the flag. I put Heru on the flag to give us a new start in Pan-Africanism. We cannot, Garvey gave us the flag, but we have to continue to build. Garvey gave us the flag, Dr. Bennett and Dr. Clark gave us the history, tie them together, use the flag and the history to tie the Pan-Africanism in with the beginning of our history, and let's go. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be announcing that that we're on our way back to our history. If you want to fight Europeans historically, this is the best way to do it. Start off with using the imagery. We'll use the imagery to gain an economic base. And from gaining an economic base with the clothing, we can start doing stores. We can start doing hair stores. We can start doing laundromats, all within the red, black, and green theme to let our people know that, hey, this is where we go. We don't go over there. We're going to have to use stuff that's already handed down to us by our elders that was good for us. stuff that we recognize that's not good for us, like Islam, like anything that's not the source of that predates what we're indoctrinated in, we got to discard that. And I mean, I know that sounds harsh. If you're not dealing with the origins of your history, you're not even in the conscious community. And I'm not being malice in saying that, but we have to take a hard line in dealing with what we dealing with. You know, you can't find out your history and then start changing the story on the history that you had before. Like, you can't say that Moses is now Tutmosis because you found out that the truth, its history starts thousands of years before Christianity. You can't change the goalposts on history once you find out. You can't go and say that Islam is written on the walls of Kemet. You can't say that Moors was on the walls of Kemet. We got a timestamp for everybody's history that came into existence. We have to acknowledge it, and if we find something older than Kemet or Nubia, when I say Kemet, let me be clear. I'm dealing with the whole Nile Valley. Wherever the Nile starts at, I'm talking about that. I'm not necessarily talking about just Egypt. I'm talking about the beginning of the Nile and how it flowered out into the Mediterranean. That is what I'm talking about. We have to be clear that the source of this information comes from the Uganda, comes from the Congo region. It comes down where you find the oldest bone on the planet at. That's where civilization, that's where human existence starts. And it's a whole nother thing when we start talking about the different species and how to teach our kids how to procreate. I'm going to ask the question. And I want to make sure I ask this question clearly so we can have an understanding, because we're embarrassed, we're ashamed, we're scared, we're afraid to teach our children how to properly procreate. And that's one of our biggest downfalls as a species. They've tricked us into being able to speak up for ourselves as far as protecting ourselves genetically. Now, what I mean by that, and I'm going to ask the simple question because I don't want to get, I don't want it to be complex. If you were going to bring forth the strongest child that you could, or maybe I should do it, let me say this. Let me use nature first. Everything in nature procreates from a point of strength. When a lioness will not procreate with a weak lion. An elephant, a female elephant is going to only procreate with the dominant elephant that's in that area. Same thing for all of the species, the insects, they're procreating their own kind to only bring forth what is the strongest species possible. Now, we're going to look at mixed relationships. The first thing that they tell us is that Africans are not human, okay? That's what we've been told historically. Yet, if you analyze and look at what's going on, Africans are the first choice when breeding or procreating outside of others' own race. Now, I don't really have a problem with what they're doing. What I have a problem with is what we're doing. What we're doing is we're not protecting ourselves genetically, and we're not breeding from a point of strength. So if you're going to procreate, if you're trying to procreate the strongest or the most healthiest or the strongest being that you can bring forth on this planet, who are you going to procreate with to make sure that your offspring is the strongest possible? I'm just asking a simple question. Who must you procreate with to make sure that you're going to have this child that's going to be the healthiest that you and the strongest that it can be, the strongest human being on this planet? That is a simple question. And I'm going to answer the question. It's only another African, whether it be male or female. You have to breed with what your counter, you have to procreate with your counterpart. Now, when someone else outside of the African or the Homo sapiens species procreates with you, they're breeding or procreating up. What I mean by that is that they're genetically procreating up. They're winning genetically and gaining a stronger offspring based on procreating with an African. Whereas anytime you procreate outside of another African, you're procreating down genetically. This is just like common sense. I mean, we can go into a whole bunch of scientific videos, research to prove my point. But I think you can just look at simply as sports and everything else that's going on this planet. Even from just the most simplistic things, we actually set the bar as far as like culture, and a lot of the things that's going on now, we've already set the bar. Excuse me. So for now, like I said, I got a lot of topics I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna continue to try to be more active as far as like getting my voice out there and letting y'all know who I am. I'm actually more influential in this community than I really like to acknowledge. I don't like to self-acknowledge, but I've helped a lot of people in this movement in the internet age. As far as like a lot of people come to me for advice, not only just with clothing, with a historical advice. And like I said, it's just my time to try to get us moving and actually doing something. Like I said, and for me, I actually have a right to actually speak now. I've been in the community long enough. I've actually been putting in actual work in the community to try to help our people gain a historical and economic footing. I have never did anything against my people, and I don't plan to do anything against my people because I understand that that's historically my legacy. I cannot go against my people in any way, shape, form, or fashion if I want to be remembered in a favorable way, and leave a positive legacy for me and my offspring and what's to come behind me. So with that said, man, I mean, it's been, I think I did pretty good as trying to, not being all over the place. Like I said, we're going to have to look out for these Letterman jackets. Like I said, I'll be posting some pictures of the Letterman jackets, seeing if I can get some feedback as what if y'all want to try to put this out here. I think I'm going to do a limited edition on them as well. Probably about 12 to start and see if I can get 12 people to try to support it. And if we can get 12, then we may it's late. We may expand out and do more, and do more type of. I don't really like to do the what they call that pre-order. I would love to be able to have enough support to be able to just buy the stuff in bulk and have a certain amount of jackets here to where when you order small, medium, large, or whatever, I can just ship it out. But that's not the case. So I'm not complaining. I think that I'm doing my part. I just think that y'all lacking, and I'm gonna be honest, y'all lacking on y'all part. This stuff looks nice, man. It's representing our history. It's representing our royalty. It's actually something that we can put in Europeans' face, and it's really a powerful image to let them know that, hey, man, we serious about coming back and being who we supposed to be. So with that said, I'm going to say peace and love to the family and Black Power. There's going to always be Black Power with me. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it's necessarily for me to have to say that constantly. I think I've said it enough over the years to where y'all know where I'm at with my stance on that. But this is for us, y'all. This is our time. This is our time to announce that we have reawoken and we understand who we are. That we are royalty, from head to toe. And we're going to take our history back, and we're going to take back who we are. With that said, peace.